So what exactly is mindset? In the theory of decision, it is a set of assumptions, methods, or notations. A mindset is a belief that orients the way that we handle situations, the way that we sort out things, the way we decide. I like to think about mindset as a choice to think in a certain way, to take a decision, or to move on with my actions. I like to think of mindset as something that I have power about, my own decision, my own definition of how I want to behave, and that I'm not only at the mercy of what is going on. And of course, you can have many different types of mindset. So you can have a pessimistic or optimistic or sensitive, fearful mindset. You can be a victim all the time, or you want to be the hero mentor all the time. So you can bring different mindsets to it. If it is a choice, then I would like to introduce you another key concept, which is proactive. So my favorite way to look into being proactive is slightly different than what usually comes up to our mind when we say proactive. Connection between stimulus, or what is happening for us in the world, our needs, our situation, our circumstance, and how we respond to it as the area where we have our free will. Our choice, our freedom is connected to this area between what is happening to us, the circumstances, the situation, what we are facing, our needs, our goals even, and the way we respond to a situation. Is that being proactive not necessarily means to be in action at all times. It doesn't necessarily mean to be in action quickly. It may be more useful to understand proactivity in terms of understanding your situation and not let that the situation define your action, which would be then being reactive. That one of the first things about the mentoring mindset, and this is not only for mentoring, for leadership as well, that is very important, is that we make a very conscious choice about the way we are going to behave. As I mentioned before to you, mindset is for me a choice. Now, if I analyze and I listen to the story and what is happening in the mentoring process, and I consciously make a choice of how I want to help my mentee, or what analyzing the situation, circumstances is probably the most powerful thing I can say to my mentee, that is being proactive. And that is a very powerful way to create a baseline for your mentorship. You are already giving something to your mentee, that she has always a choice to deal with her situation, being it some hard time at work, being it some difficulties to reach a goal, being it some problems with money, whatever it is, or with a boss, whatever it is she's facing. The proactive mindset you can bring in the mentoring process is the baseline that will empower your mentee. What are the most damaging mindsets that a mentor can have? The ones that are less helpful for the mentee are being self-centered. So if I, as a mentor, go into the session, think about how am I looking, how smart am I, or how much knowledge I have, and I want to show my mentee how much knowledge I have, how big my network is. If this is happening, I'm being self-centered. And why self-centered is not necessarily so good. Mindset of self-centered does not allow you to listen. If you are being self-centered, you are immediately worried about what you are going to say, not about what your mentee will bring to you. You lose your ability to listen to the problem, to the situation, to whatever is coming up in the mentoring session. There is a risk that when you are coming with a pessimistic or negative approach or mindset into the mentoring, that you may see everything that your mentee says as a problem that you need to fix. Even maybe you will see the mentee as a problem. And that's a terrible way for you to be when you are in a mentoring session. We all need mentors. And the more that we can cross mentoring among us, the best. So just because someone is asking or looking for a mentor doesn't mean that there is something wrong, that she doesn't know how to do something. So that is a negative mindset I would avoid at all chances. Mentors are there to support the mentee to find their own answers, not to give the answers themselves. It's not because something worked in our experience that necessarily this will be the case for the mentee. Of course, we can share our experiences and help the mentee to think differently. The other problem with being arrogant is that we don't respect diversity and different styles. If you happen to be an extrovert mentor and your mentee is an introvert, your solutions may not be applicable in the same way. The most powerful mindsets as a good mentor is start being proactive, to be compassionate, to be empowering of others, and you need to be compassionate to be able to empower others, to be positive, and to be a good listener. Be patient. Sometimes the mentee is not ready for that advice, or sometimes the mentee is not seeing still what you, with your experience as mentor, probably you are already seeing that something is happening, but the mentee is not there yet. Boundaries attentive is related to how much is that you can advise someone. Boundaries refer to respect when this is going to personal and maybe you are not the person to mentor in that specific subject. So listen with your heart. Don't think or judge, and even listen to the body language, to expressions of feelings, emotions, things that are in between the lines that are not necessary in the verbal communication. Mindfulness is very important. When I talk about mindfulness, I'm not saying that you need to be a fan of meditation. Mindfulness is about remembering, is about focusing your attention without forgetting what is the focus of your attention. That's obviously the mentee. Mentoring mindset is all about focusing your attention on the mentee and her needs, how she can be more empowered. It's the focus. Mentoring mindset, it's nothing else than developing others, empowering others. To develop someone takes time. You are there to help her to be empowered and effective in her life, effective in reaching her goals or being the person she wants to be. People need to be empowered. And as a summary of mentoring mindset, again, start with being proactive, start with really choosing at each moment what is the way that you want to respond, and the way that you want to respond or react to your mentee. If you are proactive, it will be the most powerful one, the most useful for that conversation. Mentoring is a lot about conversation, right? Nourish mindfulness, meaning keep your attention on the mentee and her needs. And as I said before, this is in red again here. If you want to take one message, that's the one, and respect the mentee and the diversity involved there in the relationship and within the person. Cultivate a positive and compassionate approach. Learn so that you can help. So keep learning and use questions for that. Be curious. And do not forget to set boundaries. I just will leave you with some of the myths of mentoring mindset. You probably can read all these, but mainly I would tell you that there is no right and wrong on the mentoring mindset. What there is just the best approach or the best focus you can have. A good mentor has all solutions. That's not true. You don't need to have all the solutions. Also, that the mentee is your baby or project. No, she is entirely herself. The mentor does not dictate the relationship, and the mentee is not a failure. It is a relationship. We both grow in the process. Right. Mentorship does not need necessarily to give fast results. Sometimes it does, good when it does. Compassion with your mentee, disempower the mentor. It's the opposite. The more compassionate you are, the more you will take the mentee situation into account and her own way of being, and the way you will support her will be more powerful. Tools. The tools to nourish a powerful mentoring mindset. First of all, mentors, have yourself a mentor. Maintain positive habits yourself so that you can be in a positive mindset. Read, update yourself. There's a variety of things going on in this area. You can always learn from other mentors as well. Observe other mentors is another method, another tool, and experiment. Some mentees will react differently to different things. So meditation, for me, it's a great tool in order to put myself in the position of the other, the mentee in this case. 5 minutes breathing, imagine you are the mentee and try to go to her position. There's a bunch of lines here describing, but that's what is the meditation about. Put yourself as the mentee. From time to time, do the exercise. Another process I use sometimes is about listening, how to become a better listener, how to incorporate that in your mindset. You can ask a few people, maybe your partner, another mentor, other people you interact a lot with, and ask them to help you. Say, look, I'm trying to be a better listener. If I interrupt you, if I don't let you say your argument, if I change the course of your story in the middle of our conversation, let me know. Tools to empower your mentee. Just giving one here, that is very good. Make your mentee focus on her qualities. Make your mentee list all the qualities she has, all the positives she has. Ask her to think about how can she use each of her qualities. It doesn't need to be professional qualities. It can be personal things that people say to her that she's good at and she never thought about. It's a quality. Try to make her remember and list off them in a big list. There is a reason why this list here is long. This is empowering her. Ask her to think about how to use this quality, then describe a situation. If she remembers a situation and she used that quality and was success stories here, this will be useful to make it more tangible. And then on the second page of it, ask her to say a sentence on how she would talk about herself and about that quality she has to someone else. This helps her to be empowered, to also communicate better with others. It helps her in interviews or in pitches, in moments that she has to sell herself or her qualities. It helps her to feel confident.
So how did you come to learn about coming into a mentoring mindset? So what is the difference if I don't prepare myself coming into a mentoring mindset vis-a-vis when I did come? So did you have your own personal experience when you had to, or when you started doing this, the meditation, for example, that you talked about putting yourself in the mentee's shoes? What was the experience like for you?
It's a very, very good question, Ketak, because of course, experience, age helps you, maturity, being a meditator helped me a lot. But what makes really big difference is failure. Failure is the best instrument of learning. And I failed at least once badly. I always try to be a mentor to my teams when I was in corporate world. Now today I'm an entrepreneur. I try to empower my customers and other people, and the women especially. But when I was in the corporate world, there was this case and I was doing my best trying to help someone in the team and mentoring her. And somehow the way I did it was presenting her with solutions. Oh no, this is not the best way you're doing. Look, you can do much better than this. Here is the right way. Here is how I've learned it to be better. Use this. And I insisted with her And I realized later that I was much more pointing out to her, to what I saw as flaws in her or things that she should improve. And I was really forcibly trying to make her better by telling her that she was wrong all the time. And this doesn't work. You know, if you have to criticize someone, even as a mentor, even if you don't have a formal relationship, focusing on what is wrong with the person is never the right way. So I think that taught me, you know, it's not about me bringing solutions. She ended up giving me feedback, a very hard feedback, that she could not work with me, or she could not have that mentorship process with me, because she was feeling that she was not good enough. And it was exactly, I was trying to make her feel exactly the opposite way. So then you learn, you know, from your failures. Be attentive to your failures, because we fail. And that's where the lesson is.
Great, thank you. I think that was super helpful. And I think I understand, I could feel the pain when you said learning from your failures. So, you know, I think failure is a good thing, right? And sometimes we misinterpret that, but now even I'm learning through my journey that failure is actually a good thing. So
yeah, you all maybe in your best intention you do something wrong, and that's okay if you can learn from that and do better next time, right? And also be vulnerable. I mean, me saying that to you, I'm a mentor, supposedly a good one, but I'm here telling you about a moment where I was not good, and this makes me vulnerable. But vulnerability is also empowering, because then the mentee can see you as someone that she can trust. She can develop rapport.
Thank you very much for this very insightful but practical as well. I love the tools that you've shared with us. I think everyone is going to benefit greatly with using those tools before getting into a mentoring conversation. So thank you very much, Karime.
And I would like to thank you, Ketak and Asha, who set this technically, but also to all, and mainly actually all the ones listening and who will maybe see this video later on. I know the time is sometimes not appropriate for everybody, but I hope that more people will also be watching it. And I would like to thank them for take their time and think a little bit about the mindset for the mentoring. And remember, everyone is a mentor, and mentoring women to women is the way that we empower ourselves. We have only, in the best case scenarios, a quarter of female leadership in companies, and this is growing very slowly, 1% per year only. So be a mentor of a woman, increase this number, and let's make the world a better place then. Thank you very much.